Welcome to this video with a few tips on how to communicate with a larger audience, such as all the employees in an organization. These tips have been extracted from our in-depth video on 17 communication tips for leaders and managers. Make sure you check out the complete list after you finish watching. There'll be a link available by the end of this video. If you enjoy these tips and find them useful, please remember to subscribe to our channel and like this video. We sure would appreciate it. Let's go ahead and dive into the tips on how you can become a better communicator.
If I was to present this list to you verbally, there is no way I'd tell you all the tips of this series in one go. I'd focus on what I think fits you best and is the most important, and communicate that specifically. I'd then see what sticks, and continue with additional points that are either related or that connects well with any reactions or questions you might have raised. In a dialogue, you can communicate. Check. Communicate. Check. Etc. This is not always the case though. If you're communicating with a group, or even presenting to an audience, you need to narrow down your message to the essential parts. The essentials are the core, the absolutely most important takeaways. Don't dilute your message by stating irrelevant things just in case someone's interested, or to show that you have done all the research, etc. Focus on what is needed, nothing more, nothing less. I once knew a person who couldn't get this into his system. Let's say he needed input from his team, and he got a 60-minute slot in a meeting. He would then spend 45 minutes in a monologue, explaining all the facts so that everybody completely understood everything. In the end, he would barely have time left for discussion and listening to advice. In fact, he missed the whole purpose of the agenda topic. On top of this, most of the people in the audience already knew 90% of the background. They were simply too polite to interrupt. This wasn't effective communication at all. Make sure you're not falling into this trap. Seek feedback from others and reflect on the impact and outcome of your communication. Isn't it what you need it to be? Reflect, adapt, and improve. The next tip is about seeking feedback on your communication. If you are communicating something truly significant, such as a company vision, why not obtain some feedback afterward? See how much stuck with people, see what questions emerged. Any doubts? Concerns? Additions? Perhaps there are new ideas? If you had a long presentation, then ask which parts were engaging. Also, ask which parts were boring and disengaging. Ask what was challenging to understand. You get the drift. Find out what worked and what didn't work. Then adapt your message the next time or add a FAQ section or something else that improves the message. Obtaining feedback is crucial for you to improve your communication skills, to begin with. But it is also instrumental in understanding the impact of your communication in specific situations. Repeat frequently and use different channels. Consider using multiple communication channels if you have important messages to communicate. Remember that repetition is vital for learning, so consider that opportunity as well. Here's an example of how I communicated an important company vision or business strategy in my role as a CEO. I will show you step by step how this was done, including the repetition part. Here we go. Step 1. Prepare material using the input of multiple people. 2. Brainstorm on potential information gaps or risks for misunderstandings. Correct and improve. 3. This step involves me presenting verbally and using a PowerPoint presentation for visuals. Step 4. This consists of me asking people afterward for feedback to find out the impact of the communication and whether there are questions or concerns. Number 5. The next layer of managers communicates a similar message to a smaller group. This message is adapted slightly to hone in on circumstances, concerns, and an impact on that group in particular. 6. I and the managers gathering feedback and discussing any additional needs. Step number 7. Me communicating in writing, perhaps an email or an intranet message. 8. Perhaps an interview with 2 employees that are well known in the organization with publication on our intranet. Number 9. Me repeating a few key messages at the next coming monthly meetings, normally handling more short-term topics. 10. One-on-one talks between me and people further down in the organization to see what they think. Step 11. Employee surveys on the matter. After his point, simply continue as required. Please note that most managers did similar things as I did, but for their departments. This communication campaign was truly a team effort. This is just an example, and it's an example on a large and important topic that is valid for years. The organization I headed at the time consisted of more than 1,000 employees in around 15 locations over the globe. Just scale it down or up depending on what you have to communicate and the size and number of layers of your audience. For seeking feedback, you need to take a look at using the democratic leadership style. It can help you gather the information you didn't even know was important. You can watch a video on democratic leadership on our channel.
Click the link to watch our full video on 17 communication.